We're back!
Hey, what's up? First weekend in the NCAA tournament, boys. This is a recap. We sat through a lot of entertaining, tournament games. It's been a good one so far.
First two rounds are over. The Sweet 16 field is set, and we're ready to go. Pretty much this is like the second half of the tournament coming up here. This Friday it's kicking off, the 24th.
Man,
Get ready, man. It's going to be awesome.
So excited for that, but, I don't really know where to start.
Man, I know.
Completely honest.
We just want to pretty much give you guys our rapid reactions, just takeaways from this past couple days, really, of just action-packed hoops. I think we really got to start with the biggest upset of the entire tournament so far. For the second time ever, a 16 takes down a 1. Fairleigh Dickinson takes down the Spoilermakers, and if you look right up there, we have a certain team in parentheses up there in the pretenders column, and that is the Purdue Boilermakers. Guys,
did you see the fucking whiteboard after the game? Someone punched a hole in it?
Somebody decked that shit.
Oh, like the giant, someone punched a hole through it. It was probably Zach Edey, man. He was pissed.
He had
I
something
saw
on
it
his
the
hand
game.
after the game, but
Probably a cast.
Matt Painter proves what he always has been. He's a fraud in March.
Oh, for sure.
He's one of the better regular season coaches in the Big Ten, but surprise here. Really.
I saw an insane stat that Matt Painter has lost to double-digit seeds in the last 3 tournaments. North Texas, St. Peter's last year, and then Fairleigh Dickinson this year.
Purdue and Illinois fans will claim that they are one of the best college basketball programs of all time, but we can indeed claim this as false.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
You gotta have a Michigan or a Michigan State to bail out the Big Ten come tourney time, and this year it's the Spartans. The Spartans are the lone team.
But yeah, so
I thought Indiana, like you said, last episode, I thought they were probably the most complete Big Ten teams this year, and I thought they were primed they had a good amount of players and talent to make a good run for the year. So
let's be honest, they just ran into a red hot Miami team who's playing probably their best ball, maybe some of the best ball in the entire tournament here. Let's not go away from Purdue here too quickly here, because this is just a monumental upset here and something completely unexpected and nobody really saw coming. I know you were calling me, just telling me all this crazy stuff that was going on.
I thought they were
going to
get past the first round or two, but I didn't think they were going to go that far. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I really wish I would have picked this one, because before tip, bro, I had a feeling in my bones, bro. I don't know what it is. It's just the incompetence of Matt Painter, and really just the Big Ten as a whole in March is just it's crazy.
What I don't understand
is to happen year after year.
I feel like it's just Edey just. I don't know. I feel like he just took too many of the touches, and I feel like the surrounding pieces couldn't really gel.
Yeah. Their surrounding pieces suck. That's part of the reason why. Matt Painter needs to stop with this whole back to the basket, feed it in the post every possession, and let's get modern here with the times. It's perimeter-centric offense is what's going to win you games nowadays.
Yeah, for sure.
Fairleigh Dickinson, they had a great game plan here, and their head coach is now moving on to Iona. More on that in a little bit later, too.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's 16 seed, like you mentioned. The first one was UMBC knocked off Virginia.
And that was a blowout. This was actually a competitive back and forth game pretty much the entire way. And, it just completely shocked
I thought at half, when it was only a 1-point game, I thought for sure Purdue was just going to take over in the second half. But, I just...
Not the case.
I just didn't think the case. Edey had a good game, but...
you could see the case against FDU coming into the game. Obviously, they don't have a guy big enough to guard Edey.
No, exactly.
So it's quite miraculous that they got this done. And,
ridiculous.
Hats off to the Knights for sure.
FDU, they pretty much did what every Big Ten team in the regular season did not want to do, and that was let the other guys beat them. And the other guys for Purdue could not beat them. And they just let Zach Edey pretty much eat, and the other guys couldn't get it done. They were terrible out there. Purdue shot 35% for the game. That's not
Isn't the second best player on their roster probably Lawyer?
Probably, yeah.
So you said, the surrounding pieces just weren't what they needed to be.
Braden Smith?
I think it's just kind of crazy to think about. UCLA didn't get the 1 over Purdue.
Yeah. We were talking last episode, they were kind of skating around that 1 line.
Yeah, they were.
Fell to the 2 line.
I think it was that loss to Arizona in the Pac-12 championship game in the tournament. But I digress. But yeah, Purdue, they shot 20% in this game, under 20%. That's not going to get it done in big tournament games like this. But
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, we pretty much beat that one to death, pretty much. Here, was there any other big time upsets here from the first round?
Oh, definitely.
Arizona was definitely one.
That was huge upset. I mean,
I thought Zona was gonna actually make it to the Sweet 16 this year for like the first time in what seemed like probably forever. I mean, they're just not a good March team. Like they're kind of like similar on that Purdue trajectory.
Yeah.
Like they're a really good regular season team, but
are we really surprised? We're talking about Purdue, Arizona, and Virginia choking in the first round. Are we really surprised?
I mean,
not Virginia or Purdue, but Arizona,
Arizona a little because I thought like the culture with their new coach that they got from Gonzaga, I thought they definitely shifted and they were making improvements.
I don't know. I just feel personally, obviously I'm not an expert, but in terms of filling out brackets, I feel like I always pick them to go, 1 or 2 rounds further than they usually do.
They've had a lot of talent there through the years.
They really have.
I mean, Arizona, they went to the Sweet 16 last year. I mean, I think with this first-year head coach, Tommy Lloyd at Arizona, I think it really is like about it's a learning curve in the NCAA tournament. Like, it's completely different than the regular season, and I think this is going to be huge for Tommy Lloyd and his program.
Definitely
and his
officiated differently as well.
It is, and you just got to learn how to win. It's just completely
yeah.
different, and I think this is going to be good in the long run for Arizona and Tommy Lloyd and their program down there. I mean, it sucks losing to a 15 seed in the first round of the tournament here, but it's gonna pay off in the long run for Arizona.
Princeton still alive, Sweet 16.
Mm-hmm.
Their coach, I saw he accounted for every single one of their Sweet 16 appearances or something like that, or tournament wins or something as a player and a coach. So that's impressive.
That's very impressive for them.
Yeah,
Princeton Tigers. They're moving on to the second weekend now too, guys, and this is a scary team.
Yeah, it is. There's a stat I saw. It was never before had a 15 seed made the Sweet 16 until the past 3 seasons.
I saw that too.
It's happened 3 years in a row, but never before that.
I think that just kind of goes to show how much parity there is in college basketball and how much talent there is at all levels of the sport.
I was gonna say I feel like more with like NIL. I feel like it kind of leveled out the playing field.
Yeah,
in college
for sure.
basketball.
And the transfer portal too has done a lot to level out the playing field.
I just think college basketball like just functions better in that regard. Like in terms of like roster movement, it definitely just seems like you said, like just a level playing field. It's just more ways to get better. I mean, it's not necessarily a sport that having the most talent can correlate to wins. It could, but like I feel like you said, it's just a mixture of both. And
yeah, I mean, football's different. Obviously, it's going to affect NIL and the transfer portal. Obviously, going to affect it differently. You're not going to see obviously we can't. I mean, it's comparing apples to oranges here, but a 15 seed beating a 2 seed here. I mean, something of that nature probably won't happen in college football. But it's a different sport, so I don't know. I like the impact that it's had on college hoops come tourney time for sure, because it opens the door for this.
Definitely.
Teams like Furman and Princeton and FDU. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Princeton. Moving on. I don't remember who they play.
They play. I forget who it is. I think it's.
They play Creighton.
Yeah, Creighton. That'll be an interesting matchup too.
Yeah, I mean Furman
and Virginia. This was an insane game. I don't know if you guys watched like the final 2 minutes though.
Yeah.
I mean, Kihei Clark. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. He kind of got trapped as he was inbounding the ball here and just kind of threw it up at half court, and Furman player intercepted the pass, outletted it to a 3-point shooter, and he was able to pretty much hit the game-winning shot for the win here. And it was. This was the first game too. What a way to kick off the tournament here,
right? For sure.
Furman.
I mean, I feel like the 2019 national title that they had really has clouded like the recency bias of what they've been in the tournament for the most part. I mean, even when like back in 2015, like MSU would be meeting up with Virginia, and I feel like MSU would always be beating them in the postseason.
Yeah, they always
and stuff.
did. Yeah.
So like, I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit of like the brand of basketball they play, because it's definitely different than most traditional like Power 5 schools, just like their brand of defense and stuff. But
yeah,
I think it's their offense really is what has been the huge disadvantage for them. I mean, these last since their national title team, they really have really struggled offensively, and
for sure
in games like this, if you're not scoring points, you're more able to get beat like this. And
I mean, it was really weird not seeing UNC in the fucking tourney this year.
Yeah,
that was after making it all the way to the
Natty last year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's tough for UNC, man. And they like we said last episode, they declined the NIT tournament invite too, which is interesting. I feel like they maybe are a little bit above the NIT, but yeah, that is what it is there.
Yeah. Any other like notable or crazy?
Yeah, I wanted to touch on Texas A&M and Penn State too. Penn State really handled Texas A&M, a team that KenPom had ranked like in the top 15 all season, pretty much. I mean, this was a red-hot Texas A&M team, and everyone, I don't know if we have them in our sleepers column, but we should have had them in our sleepers column because we were really high in this Texas A&M team.
Yeah. I thought what really, had A&M fall down to the 7 line was, I don't think their strength of schedule was really that good. I don't think, their quad 1 wins were good, but I think Shrewsbury had a hell of a season this year for Penn State in a program. If they can fend off suitors for Shrewsbury services, I think it's a program that's definitely on the upswing in the Big Ten.
Oh, for sure.
And
why not
with playing good with Texas, I mean, that was really down to the end. I mean,
It was. For Penn State, the biggest key is finding a way to retain Shrewsbury because that was a plus hire for them. I mean, what he did in such a short amount of time, taking Penn State to
if they could get some continuity with the staff, I feel like it'll help their
huge,
recruiting at least help their recruiting for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, really just finding a way to keep the staff and keeping the core group of guys together. I know they're going to probably lose Jalen Pickett, who is probably their best player, and probably Andrew Funk as well. But great second season, I should say, for Shrewsbury, almost making the Sweet 16 for Penn State.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I don't remember Penn State's last Sweet 16. I think it was 2000.
A while ago.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't quite remember, but it was long ago. And good for Penn State, man. Love to see it representing the Big Ten.
As I said, I don't think Lamar Stevens ever went.
No, they were going to make it, but the COVID canceled.
I was going to say, I feel like Chambers had a few decent years there, but I mean, definitely not like what Shrewsbury's been able to do in such a short amount of time there.
For sure.
Yeah. Definitely, man. I mean, there's just so
much.
These
matchups for the Sweet 16 are amazing, man. I can't freaking wait.
Yeah.
I mean, I think all the teams that you see. I mean, I just like how it's not as many 1s and 2s this year. I feel like it's just just good parity right now.
Should we go over them and give them our thoughts here?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. I want to touch on a few more of these teams here. We want to talk about Duke real quick and Tennessee too, because Tennessee pretty much just handled Duke in that size. We were talking all on this show about how we thought
Rick
Duke
Barnes was a choker.
We thought Duke was underseeded, a 5 seed after the way they ended the regular season, winning the ACC tournament here.
I don't think that was a bad first season from their new coach. I think really what they had was two big guys that could have fended off really good in March and defend very well, but I just think they lost to a very good Tennessee team with a good athlete.
Tennessee handled them. They shut them down, held Duke to 52 points. Very impressive stuff from Tennessee and the Vols. I really like to see that because Rick Barnes, we've heard of the narrative about him in March and how he can't get it done here, and it's just great to see him finally get that monkey off the back and get a big-time win in March like this against the Duke Blue Devils.
Another game I'd like to mention, the Arkansas beating Kansas, man. Huge win for Musselman and the boys down there in Arkansas, man.
We were hip to that one, guys. We were telling you guys, Nick Smith, Anthony Black, those guys are studs for Arkansas and the Hogs, and they showed it. They shut down Illinois in the first round, and then they upset Kansas in the second round.
Arkansas with Musselman, they've just been able to recruit at a different level more than they have ever had. So,
Roster management for Musselman's been huge. I mean, transfer portal and high school recruiting. He's been hitting it out of the park every single season, it seems like.
This one really doesn't even seem like a surprise, honestly, because of how dominant and good they've been under Musselman and Kansas.
I mean, there was a legitimate case, like people were saying Kansas could go back to back. I mean, they really were that good. I mean, Grady Dick had a very good freshman year. I mean, Jalen Wilson, he is one of the best players in college basketball, one of the best wings in college basketball.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, not having their coach was definitely big in this game.
That's true.
Bill Self not being on the sideline for the Jayhawks was huge.
But I mean, I don't think it's really the sky's falling in Kansas.
No,
I mean, I think they're gonna be back next year, and they're gonna be
just fine.
Like, what even happened to Bill Self? I don't remember.
He was dealing with some illness. I think. He was missed the first 2 games of the tournament. And a coach of his stature, that's good for 5-6 points a game when he's on the sideline drawing plays up.
Oh,
I mean,
for sure.
they lost by 1 point here, and I think that was kind of the deciding factor. And I don't want to take anything away from Arkansas. Very talented team, tons of studs in that squad. They're gonna have a ton of guys going in the top 10 of the draft coming up here.
Definitely.
I can feel it. And Arkansas, I mean, they got their hands full with UConn next game.
Sonogo's a beast down low. I mean, really, I think Dan Hurley is really up in this game. I mean, it definitely took a couple years with UConn, recruiting and reinforcing everything, but I think UConn's really on the upswing. I mean, Jordan Hawkins is one of the best players in the Big East as well. I mean,
I think this is UConn's deepest tournament run since the Jim Calhoun years and Shabazz Napier and those guys. And that's great to see
that
UConn
one at home, man.
I know.
The Elite Eight.
That's crazy.
It's great to see UConn finally
that MSU
back.
squad was so talented. That shit haunts me.
It's great to see UConn back, though, man.
Any other notable first weekend games we should cover, or should we move on to our preview of the Sweet 16?
Man, I'm just looking here, man. Pitt, I mean, they beat Iowa State. We were hip to that. I mean, we got Pitt up there on the sleepers board. I mean, if you were tuned in, you got that one there. And Miami, we kind of talked about them a little bit too, and I wanted to just briefly mention Gonzaga too, because really flying under the radar here, back in the Sweet 16 for I think like the 5th season in a row for Mark Few and his guys.
Say what you want about Gonzaga and their strength of schedule, but they know how to win in March. I mean,
that's true.
Like, as much as hate as they get for their schedule, I mean, I feel like they're always playing the toughest non-conference or one of them. And, I mean, they back it up. So, I mean, props to Gonzaga. And Mark Few is one of the best coaches in the sport.
He is. And we get a little bit of a rematch here, Gonzaga-UCLA.
Amazing game.
What's been a little bit of a rivalry in kind of recent years with all the matchups that they've had. Regular
Final
season
Four,
and Final Four. That amazing game from a couple seasons ago.
That Arizona State-TCU game was so close.
It was. I mean, TCU, they pretty much just edged them.
Frankie dunked it on someone's head?
Oh, for real? Frankie, bro.
You suck, Frankie. You suck. Remember when you hit the backboard on a three-pointer? Anyway, we want to touch on these Sweet 16 matchups. Hold on.
Yeah. Michigan State and Kansas State, Ryan. What are your takeaways on this one? You think the Spartans have enough firepower?
I think they got that magic.
I think what Kansas State really has is a lot of momentum right now. I mean, Keontae Johnson's had his best year in college. It's probably his most efficient year. And Noel is definitely coming into his own and playing his game. So, I mean, I think MSU has their hands full. I'm interested to see who's on Keontae Johnson, if it's going to be Hauser, if it's going to be Malik. But I think just the X factor, like it's been in these past couple games, it's got to be the guards for MSU. I mean, if the guards can carry the load, I like their shot.
I agree. I don't know. It's kind of
a toss-up because,
toss-up.
I mean, personally, I would probably give the slight edge to Kansas State right now, but like I said, I think it's going to be a very good game. I think it's going to come down to the wire for sure.
I think personally,
I just think Kansas State has more momentum because, I mean, personally in that MSU Marquette game, I don't think it was more MSU like wowing. I mean, I feel like they did everything. They grinded it out. I mean, they weren't really shooting the best, but I mean, they need to shoot better to this game for sure.
Yeah, I mean, no disrespect to FAU or Tennessee here, but I think the winner of this game is going to the Final Four.
Agreed. I mean,
I don't know. Do with that what you will. This one's hard to call. If I had to give a slight edge, it'd be to Kansas State as well. What about you, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were kind of talking, me and Ryan were on the way here, actually, about Michigan State's kryptonite being like a dominant big guy here. And Kansas State doesn't really have one of those, but...
And nor is their first couple opponents. I mean, I feel like MSU really lucked out with their draw, but I mean... I think they're deserving here, and I think it's been a very successful season despite everything and everything that happened this year. So
a Sweet 16, and it's a benchmark. It's something to be proud of.
I mean, it was Izzo's kryptonite for a while, but I mean, congrats, Izzo.
Yeah, I mean, and like I was saying, Mark, this
kid really celebrated that shit, man. It was almost like he'd never been there before, bro. Y'all see the locker room celebration?
I mean, you've seen the stat. I mean,
you saw the couches burning in Red Cedar Village.
He's tied for first for the most Sweet 16s. I mean, you got to give him the one thing that Izzo really is. I mean, I think he really lacks the second title. Of course, that's usually people's main argument, but you can't deny it. He's been really fucking consistent at MSU. I mean, minus the past couple rough seasons that they've had. I mean, they still found a way to make the tourney. So I mean. I don't know. I'm very interested to see the matchup, but
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to MSU, but I mean, this Kansas State team, they're definitely going to have their hands full. I think this is going to be a great matchup. It's going to be a great game. I would not suggest missing this game. It's going to be awesome.
Next game of the day on Thursday, UConn, Arkansas. We already kind of touched on this one a little bit. I don't really.
Man, this is another game with a ton of firepower on both sides. We talked about Anthony Black, Nick Smith, the Mitchell twins, those guys at Arkansas. And then on the flip side, for UConn, you got Sanogo, Jordan Hawkins, Tyrese Martin, those guys. And great coaching matchup here, too. I'm excited to watch this game. I think UConn, if they can get this through this one, they have a good shot at a Final Four here.
I'm going to go out on a limb, and I think Arkansas is going to keep their run going. I think what they have, Arkansas, I feel like it's a very even talent matchup. I feel like they both collectively have a lot of talent on both sides. It's going to be a dogfight, but I don't know. I like Arkansas's best players being guards. I really like that because I feel like that's where UConn's lacking in a way.
Yeah, I agree. I think Arkansas is a team that's got some buzz around them right now that maybe UConn lacks a little bit. So I think Arkansas is going to win this game and move on to the Elite Eight and face the winner of the last game on Thursday. There's one in between there, FAU and Tennessee. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think about that one?
I mean, as much as we hate to say it, I think Rick Barnes really has it going this year. I mean, I think Tennessee just have a lot of talent this year, and I mean, kudos to them. I mean, their best team that he's personally had only made the Sweet 16 with like Admiral Schofield and Grant Williams. Yeah. So I mean, making the Elite Eight here is a huge accomplishment and just a string of not as much success as they'd like.
I mean, the way I'm looking at it is they already beat a very talented Duke team that we honestly didn't think they'd beat. So
and that was playing, Duke was playing its best basketball at the end of the year. So I mean, definitely a big, and it was a 13-point win. So a very convincing win, which was definitely surprising because, I mean, I thought that was going to be a lot closer game.
I don't know. I feel like the one thing Tennessee needs to avoid is overlooking a team like FAU after a performance against Duke.
This is a very veteran FAU team.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, this FAU team, they've been very dominant, really. I mean, shouldn't say dominant, but they've been getting the job done, as the way to put it. And, I mean, this is a team very veteran. They can take advantage of you if you're making mistakes like this. In Tennessee, they just got to be crisp, and they can't be making mental lapses like this. And I think if Tennessee can do those things, they have a good chance of advancing to the Elite Eight here.
Yep, for the winner of Kansas State and MSU.
Yep, I was going to say, that's for the East region right there. Round out the West region, we got Gonzaga and UCLA, as we mentioned earlier. That's a Final Four rematch. That's
much anticipated rematch.
Huge.
So.
I know UCLA, they're anxious to get in on that one since they've lost to Gonzaga the last couple times.
I mean, I don't know. It's tough.
I mean, I put them up there for a reason. I think UCLA is going to do what they've done best. And, I mean, it's a very veteran group with Haskaz and Tiger Campbell leading the way, and good talent like Amari Bailey, Bona. I mean, it's just a very talented and deep UCLA team, and Cronin's really changed his program around really fast. I mean, very impressed. So
I am.
I'm very impressed with Cronin and what he's built. So
I think UCLA is definitely going to get the monkey off the back here, being the Gonzaga Bulldogs, and I know UCLA. I mean, Gonzaga, this isn't like the vintage Gonzaga team. They don't got Jalen Suggs. I mean, they don't got Brandon Clark and all these guys. Kisper. I mean, they got Timmy. They got Timmy. That's pretty much the guy. That's pretty much the guy that's been there for like 30 years.
Right.
Like, and I just think UCLA is the more talented squad, despite a couple key injuries to some guys here and there, like Jalen Clark.
Timmy could have a good big game though. So I mean, he gets boards and he really puts a good fight. So I mean, I think it's definitely going to be a close game.
It is. I don't know. I like UCLA though. I think they're going to get it. Finally, going to get over the hump of Gonzaga here.
Mm-hmm. We got the Bruins winning that game as well. Mm-hmm. That rounds out the slate for Thursday. Mm-hmm. Friday, starting the day with San Diego State, Alabama.
Man, interesting matchup again here, man.
I mean, I don't know.
I think I got Bam up there for a reason as well. I mean, I think so far in the tournament, I think they've been probably the most dominant team. I mean, they beat the crap out of Maryland. I mean, they're just all year.
Texas A&M Community College,
like all year. I mean, to me, they've just been the most consistent team. I mean, they just have so much talent across the board. I mean, Brandon Miller's a top 3 player in college basketball. I mean, Javon Quinley's a beast. I mean, Nate Oates has it going at Bama, really.
I mean, I really think Alabama's a weight class above everybody in the South region here. I really think.
I like the San Diego State squad. I mean, I think they definitely flew under the radar for the most part.
That's probably their best competition out of playing either Princeton or Creighton here, honestly.
It is.
So if they can make it past this Sweet 16 game, they're
in
the
Final Four. Check.
Yep, check that off. So.
And I don't know. I like Bama. They're just so talented. Quinterly, Brandon Miller, so many talented guys. I like Bama.
Yeah, Quinterly went crazy. Didn't
Roll
he?
Tide.
Quinterly went crazy.
Yeah, finally back from his injury too, and that's great to see for him. I mean, McDonald's All-American, Jelly Fam, like prodigy here, so he's a guy with a lot of talent.
Yep. So Miami and Houston is the second matchup.
This one's a fire matchup.
Midwest region.
Miami's definitely playing its best basketball coming out of the ACC, of course. I mean, I think defensively, Miami definitely can lock up. I mean, And I think Houston, I mean, coming into this, they got Marcus Sasser. I mean, they got Jarris Walker.
He's banged up too, Marcus Sasser. So
I mean, Houston's a deep squad. I mean, Kelvin Sampson, he's really had it going for the past couple of years at Houston.
Definitely.
I think this matchup is, to me, out of all these games, the one I'm probably most intrigued by.
I'd say so. This is probably the best one.
I was so impressed
because I don't know which I'm going to currently lead, but.
I was so impressed by the way Houston handled Auburn in that pretty much a road environment in Birmingham, Alabama.
Because Auburn looked good versus Iowa.
Yeah, and then Miami blew the doors off of Indiana here, which was a close game at halftime. So these two teams are just playing their best ball right now. And I don't know, I think the winner of this game could, like I said, also is probably maybe going to go to the Final Four too in this region too. But there's another matchup in this region too that also is a doozy of a matchup too.
This might be the toughest remaining matchup or region. Rather,
it is definitely 1 and 5 and 3 and 2. Yeah,
this Midwest region is crazy.
That's a gauntlet of a region right there.
I got Miami in this game. I feel like they're gonna keep this momentum going. I wouldn't really say I'm not gonna look really forward to the Elite Eight so far, but I mean, I think Miami has what it takes.
I agree. I mean, I put them in the contenders category there. I think that they've been a team that, they've been playing good ball all season. I mean, Isaiah Wong won ACC Player of the Year. He's been balling out. Like you mentioned, they can clamp up. Marcus Sasser's banged up. We don't really know, if he's going to be at full strength. So yeah, give me the Canes here.
For Houston, I think it's hard to make back-to-back Final Fours, and I don't know. I think Miami. It's been a while. Jim Larinaga is the coach. He's been there forever. I like Miami. I think they finally got the squad that's ready to get over the hump here and make it to the Elite Eight here. I like the Canes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Next matchup: Creighton and Princeton. This one is interesting here.
Who would have had this in their bracket? If you had this, man, you got some cash coming your way straight from
sure.
Man.
You won.
You won the bracket. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know where to start, to be completely honest.
I would not be shocked, honestly, if Princeton won this game. Just out of nowhere, really. And because Princeton, they've been playing that way, but this Creighton team, everyone's counted them out too.
Yeah. I feel like Creighton had a lot of preseason hype.
They had a ton of injuries and kind of lineup issues where they lost a couple of games in the middle of the season.
So I feel like it's just a Creighton team that's peaking at the right time. I mean, honestly, give me Creighton here. I mean.
It's too tough to pick, man. I was just so dead set on Baylor being in this game.
Yeah, I mean, me too, but I mean...
I don't know. I'm going to have to lean Creighton as well. I mean, they just got more talent, obviously.
I think we can even classify Creighton as an underseeded team. Considering the preseason buzz that they had and the injuries and lineup issues they had along the way, too. So, give me Creighton in this game. I think they're playing good ball right now.
And which would set up a great matchup versus Bama, the 1 seed, which... Yeah.
Be a good test for Bama.
Yeah. That's the matchup we want to see. Obviously, instead of Bama going up against Princeton, it's kind of,
it'll be a shoe-in Alabama Final Four.
Or Michigan going up with Loyola Chicago.
Hey, man. Hey, man. All right. To round out the Midwest region, as we were talking about, like one of the craziest regions left here, Xavier and Texas. Crazy game. I'm going with the Horns, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Hook 'em. I feel like they've been balling out. Marcus Carr. I don't know. I feel like they're destined. They've been due.
Dylan Mitchell. I mean, a really talented Horn squad. But I mean, I've really been impressed with how Sean Miller has handled his first year at Xavier and having a very good season. I mean, I feel like Xavier's definitely been a good program in the past. But I mean, I think this is Sean Miller's redemption arc right now.
Yeah,
I think he definitely is just trying to make a statement. I think this game, and I think this is the game to make a statement. Give me Xavier this game. I think. What they're gonna do. I think they got the athletes to combat Texas.
Okay.
And I feel like Texas not having the best head coach.
Their main head coach, really.
Head coach.
They don't have.
I don't know. Give me Xavier, and I think Xavier makes the Elite Eight for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting matchup, really. Xavier, they were on the ropes with Kennesaw State in the first round.
Yeah.
Texas, they were on the ropes with Penn State in the second round here. So both teams are a little battle tested here. I don't know. I think Texas, they're definitely like the slightly more talented team. Marcus Carr has been in college for, 10 years at least.
Mm-hmm.
And
he was probably at Minnesota for 3 or 4 years, honestly.
And this is his second season at Texas, too. And Timmy Allen, another guy. Dylan Mitchell, like you were talking about. And I don't know. I really like the talent on both sides of the ball here. And Xavier, they got Jack Nungy, a guy who we've watched for a couple years at Iowa, too. And I don't know. I like this matchup. I don't know. I just think right now, this Xavier's really calling my name. I don't know why. I think maybe it is the interim head coach, but I don't feel good about it. I really like this Texas team. I feel terrible picking against them, but I'm just going to go with the slightest edge. Give me Xavier.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. This is another game where it's kind of like a toss-up. Could lean either way here. I don't know. I think Texas's talent is going to outweigh Xavier's, but
I could say it. I could definitely say it. I feel terrible picking against my Longhorns, who I have going to the Final Four in my bracket. So I got Texas for both here, man.
Yeah,
it's going to be an awesome game. This region, like we were saying, is loaded still.
Oh yeah,
the 4 best teams are probably still alive here in this region.
Yeah, I forgot to mention betting odds for these games. Michigan State -2.
What?
They're coming into this game favored.
What? Hammer? I don't know. Maybe Vegas.
Where's the game? Where's the game played? Is it going to be in Columbus again?
I
doubt it.
No, I don't think so. It's
so.
New York.
Yeah, New York, the Garden.
Tyson Walker's hometown.
And another notable one here, not Miami, Houston, -7 against Miami. So
Houston -7.
That's
a lot of points.
They didn't. Vegas.
We're not giving Miami a lot of love. But.
Yeah, we'll mention that. We'll put those in the video when we edit this shit. But yeah, I think we get all the Final Four.
Yep, that's all of them.
The Elite Eights too. So I mean, obviously our opinions will maybe change from now until the start of the Sweet 16 here. But I mean, awesome to see here that we have a Sweet 16 field, and these games are going to be played here in a couple days too. And
I feel like this tournament always goes by so fast every year.
It does. It sucks.
First day and actually the first 2 days are the best because there's just basketball on constantly. Right?
I just hope these games don't get ruined by the officiating.
That's true.
I hope like the pacing and the overall speed of the game is just at a adequate level for March. I mean, we want to see good games. We want to see less fouls. We want to see
less stoppages in play. Yeah. Really.
So that's really what
we just want to watch ball.
So I mean.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know. I want to read your guys' minds here. Like, who do you guys think, with the remaining field left, who are your guys' picks to win the whole thing?
I got Bama, man. I mean, Bama, like I said, has just been the most consistent team, and I just think they're different under Nate Oates, man. I
completely agree with you, but like, who do you think they're going to be playing in the Natty? If it were to end today, the Natty was tonight. Who would Bama be playing?
UCLA.
I was going to say it's right there. Alabama versus UCLA. That's exactly what's happening.
I mean, I just think UCLA just has the perfect blend of
talent
and experience.
Youth and experience, yeah.
It's looking nice. So, yeah.
I mean, I just think Cronin's just one of the most up-and-coming coaches, I mean, these past couple years.
He's really flipped the script at UCLA after kind of some question marks about his job status.
Nate Oates definitely turned the script over at Bama. I mean, for the most part, they were really known for just shuffling money. I mean, for Colin Sexton and stuff like that before
I think that was
he
a
got
different coach.
There. Yeah, I mean, Avery Johnson, but...
He was a bum. I think he got fired, didn't he?
Definitely.
It's definitely Bama and UCLA. Winner of that game, I'm probably going to give a slight edge to Bama at this point just because they've been steamrolling teams. But
I have the same exact picks as you. I think those are my two favorite teams right now to
Xavier makes it to the Final Four. I think Xavier. It's gonna be the matchup would be Xavier and
the Horns. What you talking about?
Xavier and then Miami and then.
No, it'd be
Xavier, UCLA.
Oh,
and then I
think
then
UCLA
either Kansas State, Michigan State, Tennessee, and Bama.
Yeah, and I think Kansas State obviously gonna be MSU, and then whoever they be playing. Tennessee, and I think Kansas State makes it as well. I mean,
that's interesting. Imagine the Wildcats in the Final Four. Whoo, that'd be crazy.
I just think they're probably the most complete team in that region, honestly.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
Just their body of work. I mean, I just feel like they've been the most consistent team in the region, which is definitely a weaker region. I mean, definitely a lot of falling pieces happen in that region for this to happen.
I thought Duke in that region would have just been the.
For sure. I mean, that was my ground of thinking, but.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
I mean, hey, don't sleep on this Houston team, too. I mean, they could, if they end up beating Miami, who knows?
They're in, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Who knows? If they end up beating Miami, they'll play the winner of Xavier in Texas, so we'll have to see. Yeah. Miami is a team as well that can, maybe make the Final Four, so.
Yeah, and we wanted to touch on a couple coaching changes here, too, since a couple seasons ended for a couple programs, and yeah, we really got some blockbuster moves here going on. We'll start with Rick Pitino, I think going to St. John's here too, which is an interesting fit, and I think it's going to work out well for St. John's. Rick Pitino's a winner, and he's going to bring that culture.
It's a program with a good history. I mean, back in the day, but I mean,
ton of history.
Big East just being one of the best college basketball conferences, I mean, in recent years. I mean, I just think this is a perfect move to be getting back into the game. And it's on a 6-year deal, so obviously they're showing some long-term commitment here for a coach that's, I mean, when he was in the game, probably top 3 in the game for sure.
Let's be honest. The dude only went to Iona because of the scandals and all that stuff.
No one else would have him. And
he went to Greece. He was in Greece before that.
But don't forget, his level of prestige in college basketball. I mean, with Coach K and Jay Wright and those guys.
I mean, there was a couple programs
might be the most accomplished.
There was a couple programs interested. I mean, Texas Tech was also interested as well.
Yeah, I mean, Rick Pitino's one of the best coaches in the game. So
we
can't forget about that just because of some stuff that happened at Louisville a couple years ago too. And
I mean, it's been happening in the SEC
for St. John's.
Years.
A+ hire for St. John's.
Yeah, and then obviously the last one, Ed Cooley leaving Providence for Georgetown.
Right? Yeah.
People have been criticizing a lot, saying it's a lateral move. I mean, I'm not really convinced Providence has like a rich history. I mean, like they've probably had a few good years here and there. I mean, I like the move for Georgetown. I mean, I just think Georgetown's a mess with what Patrick Ewing been doing there for the last few seasons.
Similar to St. John's, Georgetown is a program rich with history. Back in the day, they were one of the best programs.
I think Ed Cooley has his work cut out for him in terms of the roster management there. I mean, I think it's going to be a couple seasons up for Ed Cooley.
Georgetown's going to be better for recruiting, obviously.
100%.
DMV, I mean, it's a lot
New
of
York,
a lot of great athletes come from there. I mean, obviously Rhode Island's kind of in the same area, but it's different. And
it
like
could be
you
a
mentioned,
team that's active in the portal.
Georgetown's got a rich history too, so I mean that's a team.
Yeah, it's gonna.
It wouldn't be surprising to see them, make that leap with Ed Cooley.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if any of Ed Cooley's players at Providence follow him to Georgetown.
True.
We know we've seen some moves like that, especially in college football, where coaches move and we see players follow. But it's gonna be something to keep an eye on for sure. With the transfer portal heating up here too, and we'll save that for another day because we're still pretty early in that cycle. But
yes, sir.
Those were the main coaching moves. I wanted to actually mention that Mike Bray. He's going to USF, South Florida here, after saying he was going to retire from Notre Dame.
Really?
Which is an interesting little thing.
Oh, that's crazy.
Little note, too.
That's a little sketchy. For maybe something happened with Notre Dame and them, but I mean Notre Dame's definitely in contact with Shrewsbury. I mean, Shrewsbury is a native to Indiana, so I mean, I think if Shrewsbury can come back home, I mean, Notre Dame's had a few good years.
They have no basketball tradition or history. I mean, that's the thing. I don't know.
But they've had a few decent years. I mean, they were a high seed in like a tournament
under Mike Bray. Yeah. I mean, he was there forever. So
I mean,
they definitely went downhill the past couple.
I think there was probably like a mutual parting of ways. I think Notre Dame probably wanted.
He was
to
there
move on
forever
from him because
probably.
I think that the
reached their ceiling.
Yeah, I think Notre Dame kind of looked in the mirror and realized, man, we haven't made the tournament in how long? I mean, we got to move on. We got to make a move here.
Last time I can remember them in the tournament is when they played Michigan, like years ago, like 2014.
In like the first four?
Yeah, in the first four.
Yeah, that was
the first time I remember them, or most recent time. So yeah, I mean.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
And I think Notre Dame probably saw the writing on the wall. Everyone else is getting better, and we're staying the same. And we gotta make a move and evolve here, or else we're gonna get left behind. And I think obviously they still have a coaching hire to make, I should say. And you mentioned Shrewsbury, so it'll be interesting to see what Notre Dame does there.
Yes, sir. Any other names?
No, not really.
I mean,
is there any other major jobs that are open? Really?
I mean, I thought Minnesota was going to fire their coach, but I'm not sure. That's
not
really a major job.
He hasn't even had time to unpack his bags yet.
I don't know. None of.
I mean, I feel like Louisville's going to be in a coach market for. I mean, Kenny Payton had one of the worst.
Their coach hasn't even had time to unpack his bags yet.
I mean, I don't think he should even unpack. Didn't they win 4 games?
Yeah, Louisville.
I think he should keep his clothes in his bag and leave.
Yeah, Louisville definitely
fell off. I mean, for sure.
Hey, at least Patino's out here thriving. So
exactly, at least he's doing better than Louisville.
Yeah,
they should have just kept Chris Mack, Ryan.
I heard his name come up in the Providence job.
I did too. Yeah, Providence is open. Providence is open.
Providence, so I mean, I think Chris Mack. I mean, I think that'd make a lot of sense.
I mean, we're forgetting Texas. I mean,
we're forgetting Ole Miss hiring Chris Beard.
Yeah. Chris Beard. I mean,
Chris Beard, he's going to bring that defensive mindset, the pack line defense to Ole Miss. And Ole Miss is a program, again, with zero basketball history.
Yeah, I mean, Marshall Henderson upset year. That's
ridiculous.
it. That's all they have.
It's the Kiff show there, but, I mean, definitely an A++ hire. I mean, what definitely went down in Texas, I mean, he was even found guilty of.
Yeah.
But what he definitely is, I mean, he's a program builder. I mean, that's really what he is. I mean, very nice recruiter. So, I mean, times now, if you're Ole Miss, I mean, they seem bought in.
It's a good hire.
It is. It's
great
A+ hire. Awesome.
They're trying to compete, so that's good to see from Ole Miss.
It is.
That's one of the better football duos in the sport. I mean,
Kiff and Beard.
Yeah, that's elite right there. I wish Ward would have picked up the phone and at least made Chris.
At least one of them. Can we do a trade, please?
Yeah, give us a little trade here, man. Yeah. Well,
we'll trade you Joey Baker.
But yeah, no, that's pretty much all I had for this episode, guys. Elite Eight, coming up soon. Can't wait to watch that.
Yeah, we'll be giving you guys our instant reactions here down the stretch until Championship Monday coming up here in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be awesome. Can't wait to have you guys on board for it.
Mm-hmm.
Peace out.
We sleep in May. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
we do sleep in May.